I'm going to be taking you through your practice today. So we're going to be starting today in child's pose. So come onto your knees. Take your knees to the edges of your mat. Let your big toes touch. Sit your hips back towards your heels. Start to walk your hands forward. Take your hands to the sides of your mat. Slowly lowering your chest down. Bring your forehead down onto the ground. And take some nice deep inhales through your nose. Feeling your entire body fill. And then slowly exhaling through your nose. Feeling your body start to relax, feel those muscles start to melt. And then repeating, taking a nice deep inhale. Feeling your belly and your chest expand. And then as you exhale, feel your body become heavy. Your chest may drop a little closer down towards the ground. Push back with your hips. Stretch forward with your arms, starting to feel your body start to wake. And then very gently, making your way onto all fours. Taking your hands underneath your shoulders, take your knees underneath your hips and rest with a nice flat back. And closing your eyes, working with your own breath. As you inhale, drop your belly, lift your head, really stretch down the front of your body, try and separate those sit bones. And then as you exhale, arching your spine, bring your chin into your chest, really tuck your pelvis under. And working with a few rounds of your own breath. Working nice and slowly, pushing into the mat at all times, keeping your shoulders still, making the movement just in your spine. So if you notice any areas that are holding a little more tension, maybe work a bit slower, really give that area some care. And then perhaps start to work a little more dynamically, working side to side. Waking up every part of your body. So learning to listen to your body and moving how it wants to move. And then coming to still. Step back with your right leg, lift your right leg to hip height. Draw your toes down towards the ground and stretch forward with your left hand. As you exhale, bring your chin to your chest, bring your knee and your elbow to meet underneath your body. Inhale, stretching out. Nice smooth movements. Really push away with your heel. And exhale again, knee to chest. Tuck your chin. Come back into that cat back. And inhale, stretch out. And exhale, bring your knee to your chest once more, get that elbow to meet. And then this time, as you stretch out, bend your back knee, and if you can, raise it high. Deeper stretch, stretch back, take hold of your foot. Keep your shoulders level with the front of your mat, drop your belly, lift your head. Lift that foot a little higher. Remember to breathe, nice slow deep breaths. And then releasing that foot down. Take your hand back to the mat, sit back to your heels for a moment, have a little stretch. Drop your forehead to the mat. Give your body a little shake. And then coming back forward. Stepping back with your left leg. Take that left leg to hip height. Stretch forward with your right hand. Really push away with that heel, stretch forward with your fingers. And on your next exhale, bring your chin to your chest, elbow to your knee. Stretch forward as you inhale. As you exhale, bring your chin to your chest again. Bring your knee to your chest. Inhale, stretching out. Really pull away with that hand. Stretch as far as you can. And exhaling, arching your back, tuck your pelvis under. And once more, inhaling, stretching out, and then again, bending that back knee, lift that foot high. If you have it in your practice, reach back, take hold of that foot. Shoulders still pointing towards the top of the mat. Lift your head, drop your belly, lift that foot higher. And then releasing that foot down. Taking your hands back at shoulder distance, taking knees wide on the mat. Sit back to your heels and again just feel that release, that stretch. Drop your forehead to the mat. Maybe rock your hips gently from side to side. And then coming back forward. Coming back onto all fours. Taking your knees and your feet back at hip distance. Take your hands a little further forward. Tuck your toes, push your hips back, lift those hips nice and high. Coming into your down dog. So it's our first downward dog of the day. So drop your left heel, bend your right knee. And then slowly the other side, drop your right heel, bend your left knee. Start to walk through your dog. Push it into your hands. Let your head just hang. Continue just feeling that lovely stretch down the back of your legs. And then coming to still. Draw that chest further forward. Drawing it closer to your thighs. Spreading your shoulder blades, so keeping those arms away from your ears. Again, just give your head a little rock. Make sure you're not holding tension in your neck. And then raise up with your right leg. Take your right leg nice and high. Swing that foot forward, plant it on the outside of your right hand. Rocking gently backwards and forwards, start to feel that stretch in your hips. Dropping your left knee and tucking those toes. Finding your level of lizard. So your toes can turn out to the side, that knee can drop, but keep your foot flat on the floor. So staying up high on your hands or dropping down onto your forearms. Push those hips forward as much as you can. It doesn't matter how low you go, as long as you can feel the stretch. Closing your eyes. And as you inhale, focus on straightening your spine, and as you exhale, drop those hips a little bit further. And then coming back onto your hands. Taking your weight in your left hand, take your right hand to your knee, twisting your shoulders. Raise up with that right hand. For a deeper stretch, you can reach back and take hold of your foot. Draw that heel in towards you. And again, a little bit deeper, drop down onto your forearm. Keeping that twist, keeping your shoulders stacked on top of each other. And remember to breathe. Move back onto your hands and releasing that foot. Taking your hands back at shoulder distance, tucking those toes. Swing that right leg back, give it a little shake. And then bring it forward again, planting your knee behind your right hand. Shuffling your left leg back a little. Find your pigeon. Taking your hands to the side of your body. Dropping your hips down, shoulders level with the front of your mat. Chin parallel to the ground, drop your hips a little bit more. And then gently folding forward. Taking your forehead to your hands, coming into your sleeping swan, as we call it in yin. Giving your elbows nice and wide. Keeping your shoulder blades apart. And remember to breathe. So finding that level, that little point between being slightly uncomfortable and pain, so you should never feel any pain, any serious discomfort, then please come out of the pose. And then slowly coming back onto your hands. Taking your right hand in the middle of the mat, turning towards the left, Bend your left foot, take hold of it with your left hand. Take your gaze towards those toes. Drawing that heel in as much as you can, feel that lovely stretch down the front of your thighs. Drop your hips. And then releasing your foot. Taking your hands back at shoulder distance, tucking your left toes, and kick that leg back again and give it a little shake. Do a few little circles, listen to your body. Then lowering that foot down. Coming into a nice strong down dog and taking a few breaths as a rest. So if you need to, you can drop down into your child's pose to rest, or a nice active rest in your downward dog. Tilting your pelvis, lifting those hips nice and high, keeping your back nice and straight. And then raising up with your left leg, take that left leg high. Swinging that foot forward, plant it on the outside of your left hand. Turning your toes, rocking gently backwards and forwards. Dropping your right knee and tucking your right toes. And finding your level of lizard on this side. So staying up high. Or dropping down onto your forearms. And remember, it's your practice. If you're dropping down onto your forearms, make sure it's equal weight in each hand. We're not letting one shoulder come higher than the other. And then coming back onto your hands. Taking your weight in your right hand, take your left hand to your knee. Taking your gaze over your left shoulder. Raising up with your left hand. Bending your back leg, reaching back for that foot if you've got that in your practice. Keeping that twist, keeping your shoulders level. And again, you can drop back down onto your forearm. But always remember, it's your practice, so only come to the level that suits you. Releasing that foot. Taking your hands back to shoulder distance. Tucking your right toes, swinging that left leg back, give it a little shake if you need to. And then swing that knee forward, plant your knee behind your left hand. Shuffling back with your right leg, coming into your pigeon. So finding your level again of pigeon. A little point between being uncomfortable and pain. So if there's any pain in your knee, then please move your foot closer into your body. And then releasing down, taking your hands on top of each other, taking your forehead to your hands, elbows nice and wide again to keep those shoulder blades apart. Using your breath, so taking those nice deep inhales, filling your body with that beautiful fresh new oxygen, and as you exhale, just feeling your muscles and your entire body melt into the pose. And then slowly coming back onto your hands. Take your left hand in the middle of the mat this time, turning towards the right, bend your right knee, bring your right heel in towards you. Coming into your mermaid pose on this side. Taking your gaze towards those toes. Dropping your hips. And remember to breathe. Just find a point to focus on. That'll help you keep your balance. And then releasing that foot. Taking your hands back to shoulder distance. Tucking your right toes and swing that left leg back. Giving it a shake, giving it a bounce. And lowering down into your down dog. And again, just taking a few breaths. Dropping those heels. Feeling that lovely stretch down the back of your legs. And then gently dropping your knees to the outside edges of your mat. Just sitting back in your child's pose just for a couple of moments. So the resting poses between our floors are just as important as the asanas. So like anything, like a piece of elastic or a piece of plastic, if you overstretch it in too many directions, without letting it rest back to its normal shape. It'll never come back to that shape, or it'll break. So really enjoying and focusing on these resting poses. Trying to keep your mind nice and clear. And slowing your breath down to that breath we did at the start. And then coming back onto all fours. Taking your hands a little forward again. Shoulder distance apart, tuck your toes, push those hips back, come back into your down dog. And raise up with your right leg. Bend your right knee, bring your heel to your bum, take your gaze under your right hand, coming into your baby scorpion. And then swinging that foot forward, plant it between your hands. Dropping your hips, getting a nice bend in that front knee. Inhaling, raising your arms. Dropping your shoulders. Push back with your left heel. Squeeze your thighs together to keep your hips pointing forwards. Gaze forward and breathe. Exhaling, folding forward. Planting your hands, step back to your plank. So we're going to hold in a nice strong plank for a couple of breaths. Always an option to drop your knees. And then working through our little vinyasa, so either dropping your knees and untucking your toes, hovering your chest down between your hands, keeping that bum up high, then snake forward. Shoulders back, chest forward into your cobra. Tucking your toes, pushing your hips back, meeting back in your down dog. And then lift up with your left leg. Drop your right heel, open up into your baby scorpion on this side. So lift that knee nice and high. Take your gaze under your left hand. Then swinging that foot forward, plant it between your hands. Push back with your right heel and lift up into your high lunge, dropping your hips. Using your breath, maybe dropping a little bit more. Keep that lovely bend in your front knee. Just check it's not going past your toes, that your ankle is directly below your knee. And then exhaling, folding forward, framing that foot. Stepping back to your plank. And working through your vinyasa, so dropping your knees, dropping your chest like last time. Or if you want to try, keep your elbows close. Coming into your chaturanga. So elbows at 90 degrees. Untuck your toes. Lift your chest, bring your shoulders back into your up dog. And then tucking your toes and lifting your hips. Meeting back in your down dog. So remember, just listen to your body. You might need to do some little hip swings, walk through your dog a little. And then taking a brief rest, drop your knees to the edges of your mat, big toes touch. Stretching forward, resting your forehead on the mat. And then coming back forward onto all fours. We're going to take our right leg over our left. Separate your feet behind you. Slowly start to sit back between your heels. So your toes are pointing backwards, your knees are stacked on top of each other. Shoulders relaxed. If you're comfortable here, take your left hand out to the side, thumb down, take that arm behind you. Raise up with your right hand. Stretching back, take hold of those fingers. So it's the same knee and elbow that's up. So at the moment it's our right side. And then if you're comfortable here, you can gently tilt forward. Feel that deeper stretch into your hips. Keeping your back nice and straight. So you should be able to feel with your left hand whether your spine's still straight. Taking your gaze forward and focus on your breath. And then coming back to center, releasing your hands. Taking your arms out wide, start to roll your shoulders, lower your hands. Give your shoulders a little shrug, listen to your body. And then roll back forward, hands back underneath your shoulders. Take your right leg back in front, then take it behind your left leg. Slowly sit back into that gap, toes pointing backwards, stack your knees on top of each other. This time take your right hand back, thumb down, take your arm behind you. Raise up with your left hand, take that hand down. Interlock your fingers, bring your back nice and straight, chin parallel to the ground, and gently, if you want to, tilt forward. And that lovely stretch, all into your thighs, working into your hips and into your glutes. Remembering to breathe. Using that exhale to maybe tilt a little further. And then coming all the way back to centre. And again, releasing your hands, giving your shoulders a shrug, listen to your body. And then rolling back forward, going back onto all fours. Taking your legs back. Knees wide, hips back to your heels. Stretching forward once more in our child's pose, rocking gently from side to side. Just listen to what your body needs. And just take a few moments. Just noticing your breath and noticing how your heart rate is. So as we slow our breath, our heart rate naturally begins to slow. And then gently starting to make your way forward, coming down onto your tummy, keeping your chest nice and low. Stretching your legs out behind you, taking your elbows underneath your shoulders. Coming into our Sphinx, so starting a little back bend. Bring your chest forward, shoulders back, take your gaze forward. If you've got no issues with your back, keep your feet together. Otherwise, take them apart. Only you can tell how your body's feeling. Push your belly and your hips down to the mat. And if you want, push into your hands, coming into our seal pose. Just focus on a point in front of you. And breathe. And then slowly lowering down. Take your hands on top of each other, take your gaze to the right. Just give your hips a little rock from side to side. Start to slow your breath. And then taking your hands by your shoulders, tuck your elbows into your body. And slowly start to raise your chest as you inhale, taking your shoulders back, bringing your chin parallel to the ground. Keep a bend in your elbows. Push down with your hips. And then just taking a little twist. Turn. Start to look towards your heels. And back to centre. And then over to the left. And back to centre. And if you're happy here, then you can bend one knee. So bend your right knee, bring your heel in towards you. And lowering down. And then your left knee. And lowering down. And if you want, bending both knees, bringing your knees in towards you. Open up your chest, tilt your head back. And then slowly lowering down. Taking your hands on top of each other, take your gaze to the left this time. Just rock your hips gently into the mat. And start to slow your breath once more. And then take hands back by your shoulders. Push your hips back towards your heels. Stretching out as much as you can. Let your head rest on the ground, then take your hands behind you, feeling that release in your back. And then slowly come forward, taking your hands back to shoulder distance. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, come back into your down dog. Raise up with your right leg, take that right leg high. Swing that foot forward, hands between your hands, inhaling up into your high lunge. Dropping your back heel up and up into your warrior two. So dropping your hips, you can use the markers on your mat to make sure that your back foot is parallel to the edge of your mat. Reach forward, flip that hand, stretch into your reverse warrior. Imagine someone's pulling those fingers towards the back of your mat. Open up your chest, dropping down. Coming forward into your side angle, dropping your elbow to your knee. Stretching that arm out in front of you. Take your gaze to the ceiling and come into your level. So you can drop your hand down to the ground. Come into a full bind. Finding the level that suits you today. Breathing. And then releasing that left hand down. Coming back onto your toes and coming into a little twist, raising up with your right hand. So we're still drawing down with your hips. And then framing that front foot. Step back to your plank, work through your vinyasa. So choosing your level. So remember, there's always the knees and the chest option. And then tucking your toes, lifting your hips, meeting back in your down dog. Taking a couple of breaths, slow your heart rate. And then raise up with your left leg, take that left leg nice and high. Step forward, plant it between your hands. Inhaling up into your high lunge. Dropping that back heel, open up into your warrior two. So shoulders are back and down, arms at shoulder height. Reach forward, flip that hand and stretch all the way back into your reverse warrior. Open your chest. Take your gaze up towards the ceiling and imagine you're stretching as far towards the back of the mat as you can. And then circling forward, dropping your elbow to your knee. Reaching that hand up high, taking it overhead, finding your level. So again, you can drop down onto the floor. Or if you can, take a full bind. Taking that left hand under, right hand behind. Finding the level that suits you today. And then dropping your right hand, going back onto the toes of your right foot as you stretch up with your left hand. And then lowering your left. Stepping back to your plank and working through your last vinyasa. So dropping your knees, dropping your chest, or hovering down in a full chaturanga. Elbows tucked in close, pushing up into your up dog or your cobra. And then tucking your toes, lifting your hips. Coming back into your down dog. And dropping your knees, taking your hips back to your heels. Stretching forward once more and finding that rest pose. Just feeling all your muscles come back to normal. Again, just rock gently from side to side. And then coming to still. Finding that peace. Taking nice deep inhales through your nose and out through your nose. Slowly walking your hands back up to centre, bring your knees in. Sitting up tall. Dropping back with your right hand, raise up with your left. Find that right heel coming into your half camel. Just push your hips forward. And breathing, keeping your head nice and supported. Don't just let your head hang. Bring that stretch down the front of your body. And then bring your left hand down, bring your right hand up. Changing sides, reaching back for your left heel. Stretching up with your right hand. Push those hips forward. Nice 90-degree bend in those knees. And breathe. Don't hold your breath. And then dropping that hand forward, coming immediately forward into your child's pose. Letting your shoulders come over your knees, palms facing up. Feeling that release in your lower back. Maybe rock from side to side. Listen to what your body wants to do. And then coming back to centre. So only if you want to, and you have no problems with your back, reach back, take hold of both heels, push your hips forward, coming into our full camel. So squeeze your shoulder blades, push your hips forward. You feel the stretch down the front of your quads and all down the front of your body. Breathe. It's a very strong pose, so we don't stay in this too long. Remember those nice deep breaths. Push those hips forward. There's always an option. You can come onto your toes if you can't quite reach your heels. And then again, just releasing all the way forward. Feel that natural urge to just release down. Let your shoulders fall over your knees. Taking your hands towards your toes. And slowing down your breath once more. And then gently coming up, rolling onto one side. Taking your legs out in front of you. Give your legs a little bounce and a shake. And again, just releasing your back, coming to a very loose forward fold. So it'll be one of the only times I'll tell you to keep your spine curved. So tuck your chin into your chest. Feel that natural arch of your spine. Maybe give it a little shrug. Notice how it's feeling. And then very slowly start to make your way down onto your back. Using your arms as support if you need to, or crossing your hands, lowering each vertebra down one at a time. Rolling down, bringing your shoulders down, bringing your head down, take your hands to the side of your body. Take your feet wide on the mat. Let your knees touch. And then gently drop those knees over to the right. Take your gaze slightly to the left. And back to centre. And then over to the left. Taking your gaze this time to your right. A couple of breaths. And then back to centre. And stretching your legs out to the bottom corners of your mat. Letting your feet fall out to the side, let your hands come a little away from your body, palms facing the ceiling, fingers just gently uncurled. Shrug your shoulders, release your shoulders down into the mat. Give your body a little wiggle wherever you need. Find that comfortable Shavasana. Your chin gently tucked in towards your chest, your eyes and your mouth lightly closed. And just start to focus on your breath. Not forcing it, just letting it happen. Just noticing the gentle rise and fall of your chest. And perhaps just noticing your heart rate. And noticing how it starts to slow. How your breath starts to become shallow. And spending as long as you need in your Shavasana. Trying to keep your mind as clear as you can. Any thoughts sneak in, then just accept them but let them go. And then when you're ready, and only when, start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Rock your head gently from side to side. Take a big inhale, stretch your arms out behind you, push away with those heels. Wake up your body. And exhale, bring your arms down to your side, bring your knees into your chest. Maybe rock a little from side to side. And make your way over onto your right side. And then keeping your eyes closed, start to make your way up to a comfortable seated position. Keeping your spine nice and straight, keep your core nice and strong. Take your hands to the side of your body, palms facing up. Take a deep breath in, stretch those arms up high. And as your fingertips touch, sigh your breath away. Bring your hands down to your heart. And once more, taking your hands to the side, take a deep inhale. Stretch those arms, and as your fingertips touch, sigh your breath away, bring your hands to your heart. Start to rub your hands and create some warmth. And then place those hands over your eyes, feeling that warmth seep through your eyelids. And with a great big beautiful smile, blink open your eyes. Bring your hands to your heart. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste.